was a book I read in 7th grade. I don't remember the plot. I don't even remember the main character. All I remember was that there was a minor character in this story. Her name was May. She is the one character I could never get out of my mind ever since I had read that book. May was a character who couldn't bear with the sorrows of the world. She carried around all the tragedies and pain of others within herself until she couldn't bear with it any longer. When she would hear tragic news of others, she would cry and wail and isolate herself. It got to the point where she drowned herself by weighing her body with a heavy rock in a lake. Morbid, I know. She was just a side character to the story, but when reading that at the age of 12, she caught my attention. I realized I was like May. I felt what May felt. The uncontrollable emotions that wash over you when you see a broken world. I started to wonder if anything was wrong with me. Every time my parents turned on the 6 p.m. evening news, story after story, I carried it with a heavy heart. There were stories about abuse, mass shootings, rape, negligence. After hearing about a mother killing her own child, I locked myself in my room and cried. I wouldn't know the victims personally, but I'd just cry. For them, for their families, for the other stories out there that were the same but were never told. Was it me being oversensitive? Was it just one of those emotional genes that was passed on from my mother? And she is a very, very emotional person. It was also in 7th grade when I made a mini documentary on the importance of coups d'etats in world history. I wrote a letter to Abercrombie & Fitch on their exploitation of workers in their production factories. And when I challenged my biology teacher to a debate on whether or not a soul formed within a fetus during the beginning stages of pregnancy. It was a debate on the topic of abortion. What did I know, barely being a fetus myself? I was a firecracker waiting to explode into the world. It was just that I didn't really know how, or where, or even why. I was moved by sadness about the way the world was. That's all I knew, that things needed to change. But the solution, no idea. I grew up only getting more confused and more lost. Go out and see the world. That's the common way many young people try to venture to find themselves. I tried that. Reaching my teens, I went to backpack on the other side of the world and recollect myself by farming, couch surfing, and meeting people from new cultures and tongues. Yes, you appreciate the diversity of humanity. And yes, a lot of people find thrill in traveling and opening themselves up to new environments in the world. I get it. I even had family join the Peace Corps, join the military, giving their lives to serve others. Yet what I realized was that displacing myself geographically didn't fix my inner problems. Seeing the momentary beauty in humanity didn't ease the heaviness the world brought with it. What I didn't realize at that time was that there was another layer to it. Not one that you could see with your own bare eyes or hear with your own 2 ears, because this layer has to do with the unseen forces at work. Uncover the story of pain, suffering, chaos, and confusion, and you see the story between God and humanity. I grew up in a Catholic household, taught by my family and church community to always serve, love, nurture, and forgive. However, one of the biggest questions I still had about God was, if He really existed, then why did He allow suffering and death into the world? The thing is, He never did. The state of the world now is not supposed to be like this, and it never was. I was able to gain clarity once I discovered the spirits at work behind it all. Scratch out pain and suffering and replace it with a new term, sin. This concept of sin, when understood through the lens of the Bible, you're provided with not only a backstory to it, but you also get a method of a solution and a preview of a world with no such existence of it. Understand the way the world is by first understanding God's story, understanding the Bible. Through my time learning the Bible, I also learned that believers need to be smart. We need to be able to clearly know the way in which God is working through how He's already been working within the world. Letting go of the sorrows by instead finding a promised hope helped me find purpose in living in this world. The heart is deceitful above all things. That is biblical. When you let your emotions guide you in life, you become a rag doll tossed back and forth. Instead, believers become strong because of the wisdom and truth given by God. Ask me if I wanted to learn the Bible 6 years ago. I'd say no. I didn't expect I'd learn this much out of it besides strict rules on how to live life, or fantasy-like stories of a man who built a big boat, or 2 naked people in a garden who ate the wrong fruit. I wouldn't even think I'd share a testimony like this in public regarding a life of faith. There's so much more that the Bible provides, and it has everything to do with this world and everything to do with me and you. The solutions outside of spirituality can only go so far. People in the world try to create a functionable, livable world, making new discoveries to cure diseases, establishing more laws so that there can be a structure for harmony. However, it never really solves the inevitable issue of sin. That's why many of the solutions people try to come up with are temporary too. What eased my heart was learning to move through understanding over emotion. I understand that there is a healing of humanity that God is working towards, and believers who understand that get to work towards that too. That's called hope. It's not like I have become stone cold to the sufferings in the world, because in fact, with more stories I get exposed to, the more I want to work to become a better believer and share the story of God that much more. For those with a heavy heart like myself, the best painkiller and the best solution out there is truth.
Hey, mortal friends! Thanks for visiting us at EzBible. Don't forget to click the like and the subscribe button. God bless.